Okay, and we're live. It is March 12th, 2025. It's a Wednesday. It is almost 4:45, and I have had a hard time getting motivated today. I did a audio journal, and for some reason I find that when I do video journals, they feel a little bit more meaningful to me. So I'm a little nervous. I'm so not used to speaking and doing video journals, but I noticed that over time they have been so healing and so therapeutic and beneficial to me. So I said, what the hell, that's what I'm going to do today, and here we are. So I was up late editing a video journal of when I went to Panama in 2022. And it just brought me so much joy. It cures my boredom. I get lost when I do editing and narration. It activates my creative side. I tap into the creativity, and once I get going, it's hard for me to do anything else but that. So I was up late editing, and it felt good to actually be finished. And it took me hours, and the video ended up only being about just under 8 minutes. But watching it, when it was finished and I watched it, it brought me so much joy. I found, fun fact, that the brain cannot tell the difference between a memory and what is reality. Oftentimes, it's not all the time, but a lot of times, for the most part. And more detailed a memory is, the brain feels as if it's like reliving it. You're living it over again. That's why what you focus on and what you dwell on is so important, because your brain is like, is this happening for real? Is this happening again? And when you think of a memory that brings you joy and happiness, you find yourself feeling joyous and happy and smiling and laughing without even realizing it. So I was watching my video about Panama, and that's what I found myself doing. It was like I was there all over again. It has been so rewarding to start learning myself, like really, really learning myself and growing. And when I look back on my videos or I listen to my audios, it's like I'm giving myself therapy, and I'm learning from everything that I'm voicing, that I'm getting out of my system, that past mistakes, past experiences, and I need to stop saying past mistakes, previous life lessons. I've just learned so much turning inward instead of thinking that there is something or some person that exists in this world that's going to bring me happiness for myself. And this journey has been so enlightening to just realize that I have everything I need within myself already, and to seek inward instead of outward has been very beneficial to me. I was talking to my sister, and I think she had a bad day at work, But I was like, sis, I've come to the point that I realize the trade-off for my mental health, for my sanity, for my peace requires that I don't engage a lot with people for too long. And that boils down to working too much. I can no longer work a 5-day week. I mean, could I? Absolutely. Would my mental suffer? Absolutely. So you have to do what works for you. And I find that my clarity, my mental game, my peace of mind, my growth and wisdom means more to me than jeopardizing, you know, my mental for the sake of financial gain. That's just fancy for saying I'll be financially poor if it means that I am mentally rich. And it's not to be that you think that you're better than somebody. I'm woke. You know, people like to use that so quickly. I'm woke. And y'all this and that. People get a little bit of wisdom and they think that they can talk down to people, and all of a sudden people are less than because you just figured something out at 42 or 56. All of a sudden you Gandhi, you know, you Mother Teresa now, that you have gotten enough life experience to think that you can teach other people. It's all about finding what works for you, living life on your own terms, finding your own paths, finding what works for you, uniquely for you, and staying with that. So, yeah, me and her were talking, and she was like, you know, when I get off work, I feel just fine. And it's like, that's how it works for most of us. At work, you ready to slap, you know. And then when you get off, it's like, oh, you get to be your true self again. Because a lot of times when we're working, we're being our work self, our politically correct, our professional person, our, you can't curse, you can't say what you really think, you can't tell the customer to get the fuck out your face, you know. I can't tell the kids, if you don't sit your motherfucking bad ass down right now before I slap, I can't do that. I'll be unemployed. I'll be lighthearted. I'll be burden free, but I'll be unemployed. So we have to in life carry these masks to function in society, and it gets tiring. It gets heavy to be something you truly don't want to be for 7-8 hours out the day. And that's why people say find what you love, do what you love, and then it won't feel like work. And if I can add on to that, you'll be closer to your most authentic ideal self. And that's what I've been working on for the past, it's been over 2, well, let's say 3 years, because I've said it before, when my mom transitioned, that started the ball rolling as far as realizing that life is short, life is precious, and you take things lightly, but not so. Meaning, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't read into things. Don't assume. Don't make life more complicated than it needs to be. Don't compare yourself to other people. Be comfortable in your own skin. And just live life on your own terms. I get emotional when I think about it. These past 3 years have meant more to me and been more beneficial than I feel like my whole life existence. That's major. That's major, because I feel like in the end of this month, the 24th to be exact, I'll be 48. And I started this journey around 45 of just loving myself, showing myself grace, being good to myself, listening to my heart and my gut, my intuition, and knowing and finding solace in the fact that I won't let myself down. And I'm the only person responsible for myself. So in these 3 years, I've been journaling, I've been eating better, I've been healing, I've been getting closure, I have been living authentically, unapologetically, uniquely myself. And it's something that money can't buy, that no one can teach you. They can tell you, but they necessarily can't teach you how to be you, how to be your authentic self. Only you can do that through life experience, through reflection, through slowing down and taking the time to disconnect from the chaos and the redundancy of life, and truly learning yourself, listening to yourself, learning yourself, going over past life experiences and reflecting on the lesson in those experiences and saying, moving forward, how can I put that in my life and make my life better? Knowledge is not power. And I just learned that recently. What you mean? What you talking about, Willis? Knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So you can have all this wisdom in the world, and if you just sit on it, how does it benefit your life? It's like when you know better, you do better. It's that. So I have been applying knowledge and loving myself. I just never realized how much, I don't even want to say I didn't love myself, but for lack of a better word, that I truly didn't love myself. Because when you love yourself, you accept yourself, flaws and all. Like today, of course, I know I wake up and I put on makeup. I don't put on a lot, but I put on enough to make me feel better. I feel like makeup is one of the best inventions given to women, and at this point in time, men too. Whoever wants to use it. And I feel like whatever you do for yourself that makes you feel good and makes you feel like you're being your best self, who is anyone to judge you? And that's another thing. Judgment, who gives a fuck? That took me a long time to be like, I don't care what you think of me. Your opinion about me doesn't matter. It's how I think about myself and how I treat myself. That's what matters. And that has been a long lesson for me, because at one point in time I used to be a people pleaser. It was more so about making people feel good in my company or doing things for people to, make me seem worthy or feel worthy. That's what it was. For the longest time in my life, I did not feel worthy. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to feel unconditional love. But it just seems like it never was available to me, because I was searching for it in others. Initially, it was my mom. I wanted to do everything to get that praise, to get that, that love from my mom. And that took a minute. It's been 3 years since my mom transitioned, and I spent the bulk of my life from single digits to well into adulthood, right up until she transitioned, hoping, praying, seeking her validation, seeking her love. And I said in a journal before, life has a way of dealing with you. My shirt, the karma. I don't even know if it shows up. It's called Karma. And it's pronounced ha ha ha. Because life will teach you. I was in a dressing room in Goodwill. Don't judge me, judge your mama. I love Goodwill. I think I can be rich as hell and I still would go to Goodwill just for the therapy, just for the hunt. Just, yeah, it's basically the hunt. I put on my earbuds and I tune out and I'm just, looking for a bargain, looking for something vintage, looking for something that is no longer in circulation. If everybody has it or everybody's doing it, I don't want it. Then it doesn't feel special to me anyway. And I'm in the dressing room trying on clothes and I'm listening to affirmations because I'm just so aware that what you expose your mind to, your eyes, your ears, it affects your thoughts, and your thoughts turn into behaviors and just who you are, your character, your character, for lack of a better word. So I'm listening to my affirmations. I'm just, in my own little world. I've carved out this just tune out the world and tune in to me. And this song comes on by, is it Marie Cox? I'm not saying her name right. It's Cox Marie, or anyway, it's called I Forgive You. And in my affirmations, I have the ones that I listen to, and then I have the on Spotify where you can check to get recommendations. And so I had never heard this song before, and it comes on, and this lady has this tone in her voice that it's almost like a cry, but it's like I can't explain it. It's a soul cry. It's the kind of song that if you're in the right place in life, and whether it's healing, in the process of healing, and you're open to growth and understanding, and you have something in your life that you thought you forgave, you thought you got over it, when you hear this song, it will humble you. And when I listened to the song, it went directly to my spirit, my soul, and it was almost like it was instant healing. It purged the thing I was trying to hide that I didn't even know was hidden, that I was trying to hide. Basically, I thought I forgave my mom. I thought that I was okay with her not being capable of giving me the love that I so deeply desired. I needed. I didn't desire, I needed it. I was a sensitive child. I'm a sensitive woman now, but I know how to protect me now. I know how to set boundaries now, but as a child, that's just how I was, and that's just what I needed as a child. And my mom, given her circumstance and how she was raised, she was just not capable of giving that to me. And when she transitioned, the wound doesn't just heal when people pass, it's still there. And although they're not here anymore, you're still left to deal with whatever issues that they were a part of. So when my mom transitioned, that seeking validation and love, that wound still was there. And I was like, well, I forgive my mom. She wasn't capable of giving me the love that I need, or so I thought. So when the song came on, because I go all around the mulberry bush before I get to the point I'm trying to make. When the song came on, it humbled me. It brought me to tears. And when I say it brought me to tears, it brought me to ugly face, red eye, crumble in a corner. Tears. Because it was at that moment I realized that I hadn't forgiven my mom. And for me to grow, for me to get stronger, for me to truly heal, for me to have true closure, I had to truly forgive her. And after I got done crying like a baby, because I got blindsided with that song, and I think I was just in a place spiritually that I could get healing. That's why music is so important. Words are so important. The things that matter the most, you can't put a price tag on. So when I left that dressing room in Goodwill, I left that burden. I left that wound. I left it there as well. And ever since that day, I can think of my mom and feel better, because they tell you forgiveness is not for the person you think who did you wrong, even if they did it on purpose or they didn't know they were hurting you. You forgive them for yourself, so you don't walk around still, subconsciously thinking or feeling that person did me wrong. That person did me wrong. Why did they do me wrong? Looking at my neighbor. That's a lesson too. I look at people sometimes and I be like, be grateful and be thankful for the life you have. That's another thing me and my sister were talking about. I was talking about more so, because she was telling me, T, you won't be single long. And I'm like, at this point, I'll be 48. I've done so much personal work. Stop. Let's go back and finish that, because I have a tendency to get sidetracked. I forgave my mom. I cried over it. I got that blessing from that song, and it was something I needed to add to my journey to become a better person and be my best self. And I needed it, and it was almost like, I'm telling my mom, I forgive you, and I think, because I like to believe there's life after life. And I feel heard. And I feel she heard me. And we're good. I'm good. Moving on. I look at, no, me and my sister, we were talking. And I was saying how, I might be single, right? And she was like, well, T, you're not going to be single long. And I don't know. Lately I've been thinking about it. And I'm like, between these men killing their so-called, loved one, their wife, their girlfriend, their significant other, people do crazy stuff because there's so much going on up here and in here, and hurt people, that whole thing. And I have just learned so much, and I've gained so much comfort in being by myself. And I think people, we're brainwashed to believe that you're not living life if you're not living this so-called American dream, if you're not hitting these milestones that, who thought of these fucking milestones? Who said, 22, 23, you need to be finished with college. 24, 25, 26, you need to be in a career. You need to have your person. You need to be married. You need to be having kids. You need a dog. You need a cat and a bird. You need to live in a certain kind of house, in a certain kind of neighborhood. You need to drive a certain kind of car. And you need to work your ass off 8 hours a day, 5 days out the week, and take 2.5 vacations every year. Who the fuck made this shit up? And why are we following it blindly? I have learned the American dream is just that, American dream. I didn't sign up for that shit. I don't want the American dream. I want my dream. And I don't even want it to be a dream. I want my reality. I want my life while I'm living and breathing and functioning in this body. I want to have the best life experience possible, according to myself. Having said that, I have had times where I feel, lonely because it's me, Boopie's here, Lily's on campus, but you don't think about as you get older. You just follow the guidelines loosely of the American dream, and you kind of just drift through life a lot of times with whatever basic, tiny, crumbled up bubblegum wrapper blueprint that you got in childhood from people who were broken and didn't have their shit together either. They're called parents. You don't get to choose them, and whatever they went through in their childhood or in life, it spills over into your childhood and your life. And hopefully when you get to a certain point in life, whatever age that may be, because it's different for everybody, hopefully you get to a point where you start realizing that you are in control of your life and you can have the life that you want to live on your terms. Whatever that may be. You feel free. For me, it is true freedom. Living life how I want to live. If it's sleeping late, if it's staying up late, if it's only working 2 days out the week and being financially, as they call it, poor, but rich in spirit and peace of mind and mental, health. That's for me to decide. But yeah, men are, killing their spouses. You have to tune out the news because it's so depressing. Somebody's being born today, somebody's dying today, and somebody's getting killed today because there's so many words we can't say now. We can't say suicide. We can't say murdered. We can't say rape. We can't say so many words. You get censored. It's like freedom of speech where? I get tired of living. Well, I can't even say that because that doesn't apply anymore. But at one point in time, it was tiring living a masked life. Meaning inside your house. That's why you get so much peace when you come home after working or being out and about or socializing, because when you stick that key in your door and you enter your home, you shed all the mask, all the fakeness, all the bullshit that you deal with or you pretend to be or whatever. When you get home, you get to be your true self. That's why people say, I can't wait till I get home. I can't wait till I get home. Take this bra off, take these shoes off, find me something to eat, pop my toes, do what I really wanted to do. But you had to work. You had to pretend. You had to smile and or kiss ass or hold your tongue for 8 hours. Where do you think that frustration and that annoyance and that irritation, where does it go? By the time you get home and wind down and, get a little piece of food and do a little piece of something you want to do, barely wash your ass, well, hopefully you wash your ass. You got to do it all over again the next day, and you keep doing it over and 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 over again until society says you're old enough. Okay, you can stop. You're 60, you're 65, you're 70. Go get some rest. Go sit down somewhere, grandma, grandpa. And then you die 5 to 10 years after that. Is that the American dream? Is that what we're chasing? Is that what you want? It's not what I want. But yeah, when I think of being involved with someone, it's like I've gotten so warm and cozy and used to myself now, and I've just begun loving myself and being good to myself and showing myself grace and, working out and eating good and pampering my skin and dressing how the hell I want to dress and coming and going as I please. Waking up and saying, what the hell I want to do with my time today? And I procrastinate so much that I need to just have a list of 1 or 2 things. Focus. Your objective is to do this and do that. I have so many ideas. I have so many things I want to do. I have so many things I want to work on that the day gets away from me. Speaking of, it's 5:17 now, and what they say in Incredibles, monologuing. But I feel so good when I get things out, when I express myself. And then when I go back and look at my videos or audios, I get blessed twice. I get blessed because I get to get it off my chest and I get to work through it. And when I watch it or listen to it, I get blessed again because I get that insight and I get to tweak, how I navigate life. But yeah, even though I'm lonely sometimes, I have been enjoying being alone. People be like, oh, I might be alone, but I'm not lonely. I get lonely sometimes, and I get certain desires and urges, Did you peep that? Did you get that? Is this thing on? I'm human. And, there's not an app for that, but, there's a person for that. Anyway, I don't know. I'm like, will I ever get remarried? I guess if I encounter the right person in life who gets me and I get them, and it's not complicated, and we just get each other, and we work well together, and our chemistry is good, our hearts are in the right place, and we add to each other, never subtract. Because a long time ago, I realized that people believe what they want to believe, and once upon a time I was like that. I believed in soulmates, right? There's only that one person, you'll know when you meet them, and that's my soulmate or what have you. And I'm like, as I got older, I'm like, malarkey, I smell bullshit, because millions of people, millions upon millions of people on this planet. You mean to tell me, out of hundreds of millions of people, there's only one person on this planet for me, my soulmate? And I gotta weave through all the bullshit and all the millions upon millions of people to somehow find this person? I'm not buying it. I think there are thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people that would complement your life. This is why when people are married, they love certain things about their spouse, right? But then you know how people say they have work wives and work husbands? Um, because everything that your spouse doesn't have, or your boyfriend or girlfriend doesn't have, somebody else does. You know, it's like a evil trick or tease, if you will. It's like you're with this man, he's a good provider, or he's fun, whatever his qualities are. Because the way humans are designed, we're flawed. You know, people want what they don't have. You'll risk losing all this in your hand to get a few grains of sand, being greedy. But yeah, there's somebody, your wife is flat chested and you love everything about her. And when you go out in the world, all you see is big titties, you know? Can't make this up. Your man is short and you love him and he's good to you and he's kind and he's romantic and he's all these things. And when you go out, all you see is men, 6 feet tall, 6'2", 6'3". So you mean to tell me, that person, that flat-chested or that short guy are your soulmate? And soulmates don't exist. And if you weren't with the person that you're with now, you would be with the tall man, right? And then you get with the tall man, and guess what? He's not romantic. The short guy's romantic. Or you get with the chick with the big boobs, right? And she can't cook, like the flat-chested or the flat booty chick can. You're never gonna get it 100%. And oftentimes, people are seeking out people for their happiness instead of making themselves happy. And that's a lesson that I had to learn too. I was like, where is this man and when is he coming to save me? What's that song? Should I save her? I wanna be saved. I ain't no hoe, so don't get it twisted, but still in the same vein, women, we are brought up with this false mentality that, this Prince Charming or this soulmate is going to come and just make your life beautiful and just be your everything. And that doesn't exist. We need to stop teaching our daughters that these fairy tales exist. The sooner that you come to the reality that you are in charge of your happiness and nobody's coming to save you, boo. Nobody. The better life gets. Save yourself. Love yourself. Everything that you could do with a partner or that you want to do it for yourself. You gotta wait for somebody to treat yourself good, be good to yourself, to go out to eat, to travel. That was me ripping off the Band-Aid too. When I took my first trip by myself, I went to DC to go to the African American Museum. It was so freeing. It was scary, but it was freeing. And it's a good feeling to know at the end of the day, if I don't have anybody, I have myself, and I won't let me down. And these days, I love myself very, very much. And when you love yourself, everything falls into place. You don't deal with bullshit. You don't accept bullshit. You set healthy boundaries and you reinforce them, and you make sure people treat you how you expect to be treated. You set the standard for yourself. It's a good feeling to grow older and wiser. That has been something. Everything, life is a journey. They said, people have these certain milestones or goals or achievements they want to do in life. And they figure, when I get there, I'll be happy, I'll be content. And then you fail to realize that once you get that goal or that milestone or achievement, there's something else. Then it's like, okay, I got a degree, what else? I got married, what else? I had kids, what else? I went to Japan. What else? I got the car. What else? I got the promotion. What else? There's always going to be something to do in life. And when we realize that life is the journey, all the experiences is life, is it's the journey. That is the destination, as they say. Life, living life, experiencing life is the destination. The journey itself is the destination. Life gets a little bit more enjoyable, for lack of a better word. And I had to deal with the getting older thing. Like, fuck, look in the mirror one day and I'm like, I went from Michael Jackson, Pretty Young Thing, to Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, you know? And that was just being hard on myself as well. I said, a little makeup. I'm a little bit older, so it takes a little bit more time and effort to get to Va Va Voom. But Va Va Voom still exists, okay? Who checking for me? Your daddy and your granddaddy. And your uncle, too. A couple of your cousins, and your neighbor. You feel me? Living life on your own terms, carving out your own path, figuring out what works for you. That's the biggest flex. Being your authentic, true self, unapologetically, is the biggest flex. Yeah. More happy times, creating more memories, working smarter, not harder is the plan. Because right now I'm in the second half of my life, even though this face card, it looks like, this face card is not declining, baby, today. As my daughters say. This is the new thing that I've learned. The students be like, I'm like, what is this? My daughter does that. And I'm like, y'all can't give me the effort of a clap don't exist no more. It's like I can't be bothered, but ta-ta to you. Carry on. I see you. Yeah, that's where I'm at. Well, you gotta do the work. You want the result, you want the life, you want the payoff, you want a certain look, a certain aesthetic for yourself. You gotta do the work. And are you not worth it? I am. You are. You are, where am I? You are. I am. We all are. I want to be 50, 60, 70 and still living my best life. So, you keep pouring into yourself and you keep investing in yourself. And then you get the life that you, I don't want to say earned, but you get what you put into your life. And like I said before, are you not worth it? Are you not worth it? So, seeing where my neighbor is at, that nigga. They say we need to stop saying that word as black people, but what Paul Mooney said, nigga, 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 you gargle with it, because we turned a negative into a positive, and I don't know, it rolls off the tongue, and I'm not ready to turn it loose yet. I'm going. Good things are happening to me and you right now.